The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Paul is a little bit delayed. This is Dave Boyle filling in. This was not quite the game plan, but we're going to make it work, and we're going to have some fun. I am surrounded by royalty. I've got Larry Nelson to my left, Rob Hackler to my left, and the immortal Peter Brown standing there. We are here with the Salvation Army, and we're filling a truck. So if you're out there and want to come down and buy some school supplies, and let's try to fill that truck. I am proudly wearing a Springfield College shirt, so if any of my Springfield College friends are listening, would you please consider coming down? We're right at Walmart down in Plymouth, so come by and see us. This show is presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. They have the best slogan I've ever heard. It says, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. I'd love to be able to say that. That is so much fun. I said, just coming in after these gentlemen, it's always a lot of fun. Again, some people know me as the chairman of the Pembroke School Committee. Some people just know me as a Pembroke resident, so life is good. There's some people dropping off some stuff right now. Thank you very much. I'm reading a bit of Paul's script, so I had hello to his staff at Pearl Street Station. That's always the fun part here. And he always says what show number this is, and I'm not quite that talented to be able to do that. But this is an amazing thing if you can see what's going on here. There's all sorts of people. The Salvation Army is here. They've got some food. They've got a bunch of volunteers. They've got people. I was able to hear Peter's interview before. Rob and Larry did an amazing job. The truck is going to be here till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This show is going to go till approximately 1, and then Ron Dwyer comes on after us. So hopefully we have a lot of things to talk about here, and I'm looking forward to it. One of the fun parts for me is I was saying to Paul last week, I had the pleasure of assisting a friend over in the Pembroke area, and the topic I wanted to talk to him about was the volunteerism of places like Pembroke. I heard Larry mention the Marshfield Christmas earlier. And basically what we did is got a group of parents together and kids, I say kids, young men from Troop 105. Thank you, Elliot Glass, Joe Salmieri, and a bunch of the other parents that came. And we did a neighborhood cleanup for a resident in town. People were coming by to thank us, and it was amazing. I was hoping to get about a half a dozen people, maybe a few parents showing up with some equipment. I got over 40 parents and kids that showed up to help us with the event. And it was absolutely amazing to see what happens and how it worked out. And it's just a tribute. Again, I was going to talk with Paul about we're putting together a nonprofit, totally apolitical, with the idea of Pembroke helping Pembroke. We're going to try to work on an event for Veterans Memorial Park in Pembroke to kind of clean it up, beautify it a bit, and make it stand out a bit more. Our veterans deserve all of those things, so this is what we're looking forward to. Again, I'm absolutely smiling here as I'm watching people pull up with shopping carts, and they're taking just bags of supplies out, and they're filling this big rent-a-truck type thing. It's absolutely an incredible sight to see. It's just people helping people, and that's what it's all about. If you're not one of those people, your neighbors need your help. Some people won't ask for it. This is our nice way to do it, so it works out pretty well. I think I see the gentleman coming in over my shoulder. This is the immortal Mr. Paul Solano. Welcome, Paul. I had big shoes to fill.
Brother David, how are you?
Good to see you, sir.
Hey, Larry, how are you? Rob, how are you? Sorry for being a few minutes late. Thank you. Thank you. Got caught in a little traffic there. Larry, nice to see you. Nice to have you alongside.
There is some traffic. Three.
Glass.
Hello there, sir. How are you?
Hanging out.
I see the Lions.
Yes.
I used to be president of Lions, and David and I were in the Malden Lions at one time.
Yes. Yes. Well, I would say
In the Plymouth Lions.
Plymouth Lions.
Yeah.
What is that? District S?
33, I think.
33S? Yeah. We were 33K, right?
I believe so. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll have to invite you guys for a meeting.
I look forward to it, but I always say this is the most generous man in town. When Peter Brown calls you, or if Christine James from WATD calls you, you start with yes.
Okay.
And then you ask them how they're doing, and then you say, what can I do? And it's never to help them. It is never to help them. They know, I say, where all the bones are buried or whatever, and every now and then Peter will say, can you help me do this or can you help me do that? And I always say, you start with yes.
Okay, I missed that. So you're Peter Brown, who I've
Tiny
heard
and
so
Sons.
much about. Pleasure. Paul Solano, a pleasure.
I appreciate everything you do.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, you guys enjoy the weather.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Great
Just
day for
remember-
a show.
Just remember
Thanks, Peter.
the Lions, liberty, integrity, our nation's safety, right? Indeed. Indeed.
Very good.
Not bad. I pulled that one out of the
Holy
hat, huh?
heck.
From yesteryear. And I am a member of the Medford Rotary, Malden Medford Rotary. So it's really great giving back to the community. It really is. I sort of want to get back on schedule, and I do want to welcome everyone. And Brother David, you did an awesome, awesome job. I think it's safe to say that we both have faces for radio, but it's really great being here. And Rob Hackler, it was great hearing you on the way down. I heard Cole from Plymouth. I think he's a future WATD employee. Is Cole still out there? Cole from Plymouth? Is he out there? Ringing the bell. I love it. And Larry Nelson, great job. And I heard you have a relative on the Magnos with those. We'll have to talk off air, but I know some Magnos from Everett. Very good. Well, and Tim McKinney, you're behind the glass. Hi, Tim.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, Paul. Glad you could make it down to America's hometown today.
Absolutely, without a doubt. It's your Plymouth North, huh?
Yes,
Eagles, huh?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, go Eagles.
Well, I just have the BC Eagles on my side.
We both have Eagles. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fly like an eagle. Mm-hmm. And how's Shelley Wolf? Is Shelley on the line? I don't have the control panel, but...
Yep,
do you have
she's
Shelley?
here.
She is. So at this point, why don't we bring on Shelley Wolf, Pod Pro Entertainment Techie Toolbox segment with Techie Talonzo Amos. And again, Shelley, global media firm owner of Toolbox Entertainment, and a past Paul Ponders guest, episode number 35. Shelley, welcome.
Thanks, Paul. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Out of traffic and out of the things that I had to do back in Malden today. This is a really big day where there's a memorial service for the owner of our restaurant, Ellen Robard, who passed away, and we've got about 500 people coming to a service in Woburn, and tomorrow we have about 300 people coming to the restaurant between 2 to 7 to honor a really great guy. So just paying attention to details, and got caught in a little traffic, but thank goodness for Waze. So, Shelley, welcome. Are you in Massachusetts today? You're all over the place.
Today I am in Cambridge, yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're out of your Porch Fest, all right? You had the Porch
We're
Fest.
out of Porch Fest, yes. Heading down to Jazz Fest here later today, so checking that out. So
Wow.
it's the 10th anniversary for the Cambridge Jazz Fest. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And have you? I know you've spoken to Arthur Boyle, but have you met David Boyle?
I have not met David Boyle yet.
David
no.
Boyle.
Yep. I am Arthur's younger, better-looking brother. I remind him of that all the time. He's also my next-door neighbor.
Nice.
On Little Sandy in Pembroke. So, Shelley, what
Well,
do you have?
now I'll know who to look for when I see you.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, what do you have today for some techie tips?
Well, today, since I thought you heard you guys were outside in the Walmart parking lot over there, I thought, why not think about how we can use our tech tips and tools to save time, money, and hassle when you're out and about shopping. So I know you guys aren't shopping today. You guys are holding events. But my thought was, remember when your shopping meant just grabbing your keys and heading out the door? Well, these days, your most powerful shopping tool isn't just your wallet. It's actually your phone. Whether you're heading to the local Walmart, a grocery store, department store, coffee shop, an outlet mall, today's tech tips will help you shop smarter, save time, and avoid some of these common headaches that we come upon. So first, we're going to talk about some apps like AnyList, which is a great basic free app. It allows you to share lists with family members. You can add items in real time. It's accessible no matter where you are. We've talked about Google Keep before. That's also within the Google Gmail workplace platform, and then there's also Apple Notes. So again, one thing that's really great about all these tools is they live within your phone, they can be updated anywhere, and they're all accessible through voice and text. So that part is great. And again, why it's important is that no matter where you are, it's living in the cloud. And nothing's forgotten. That random sticky note or the grocery list you left on the refrigerator is no longer left at home. It's right in your hands. So I don't know about you all, but I know as I'm getting older, my brain is not thinking about like paper any longer. I'm like living off that phone. So it keeps everything in one place, ready for those errands, planning those barbecues, big parties, whatever you're doing, your back to school shopping, it's all in one spot. Use your phone's camera is another way to check barcodes. You can compare prices instantly. There's tools like Shop Savvy is a mobile application for shopping. You can scan products, it finds it online, and then it tells you what local stores have it, what the prices are, so you can get the best deal that you're looking for. Obviously, you can always use Amazon to look up for reviews and different items, or sometimes it's cheaper. This is really good because we always want a deal, right? We want to figure out where we can save some money. It's always worth doing that while you're out there. So it's just a 10-second check, scan that barcode, and you're ready to go. It also helps with impulse buying or misleading sales. So you really know what you're getting your value for. Use your digital wallet for a quick checkout. Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay. I know this is something I actually used this morning when I went to go grab my coffee and pastries. It was awesome, and it eliminates the hassle of, like, where's my wallet this morning? I can just tap my phone instead, and it reduces that contact, which is still important for health reasons. But it also speeds up the checkout process. It's all, again, in that phone of yours. You're able to store some of those loyalty cards. I mean, I don't know about you, but, you get a loyalty card for every store, and I've never understood why can't we just be assigned one loyalty number, and it works for every store. But this now allows you to put all those digital coupons, digital loyalty cards all in one spot in your wallet. And also, you can use, say, a Target or Walmart app, CVS, Market Basket, for very store-specific discounts. These apps are also good for if you're doing delivery service. I don't know about you, but like me, I have no car. I am in the city, and it's great. I can actually just have all my groceries delivered to me right using those apps, and then direct to my door. So the other part, so this actually goes for you. You were navigating today your way there in this crazy traffic, so you may have used Google Maps or Waze. But
Indeed.
One other thing to think about is people are coming through. What one did you use, Paul? I heard you start to say.
The Waze. I use the Waze.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yep, Waze is good. Waze is really good. And then there is, and this might be helpful as you're getting there, the Park Mobile app, which powers Park Boston, being the prominent choice for paying for off-street and on-street parking in the Boston areas, but also Spot Hero and Park Whiz are very popular for reserving parking spots in advance. There are other re-yarded options out there, Passport Parking, Parkopedia, Best Parking, but you're definitely doing really well with Spot Hero or Park Whiz. So, again, check to see if stores are busy, what traffic's like, find your nearby parking garages, reserve a spot ahead of time. These will all save you a lot of headaches and frustration, especially during weekends, holidays, and events. So save time and steps in walking through this. So again, our quick checklist is create a shopping list with your Google Keep or any list, scan barcodes and compare prices, use your digital wallets and loyalty apps for smooth checkouts, and navigate traffic and parking with Google Maps and Spot Hero. So before your next shopping trip, take 5 minutes and get your phone ready. Make that list, check for deals, and download one new app today. A few small habits can make a big difference and keep those errands smoother and stress-free. So for today's tech tip, whether you're grocery shopping, gift hunting, bring those tech tools along with you and shop smarter every single time.
That is fabulous, absolutely fabulous, Shelley. You always give such great, helpful tips and all, and I try to post those in my PSNL Marketing Group blog as quickly as I can. And how do our listeners in Paul Ponder's land reach out to you?
Yes, they can reach us at info@podproentertainment.com.
That is fabulous. Well, Shelley Wolf, I thank you for calling in, and looking forward to next week.
Thanks, same here, and condolences to the families out there and yourself, and I know that the memorial service will be very much honoring the folks from Pearl Street.
Without a doubt, my friend. So until we meet again, #Indeed.
#Imagine.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. Well, at this point of the segment, I always give a shout-out to our executive consultant of Paul Ponders, Arthur Boyle, host of The Boiling Point. Arthur is back. He's on Little Sandy today, I believe, David?
He is. He's kicking back. You know what? I just had to do one little shout-out because I had the pleasure of having lunch with a mutual friend, Mike Sharon, who listens to the show every week, and he does. He can recite specific conversations and who we talked about and all those wonderful things. And, again, like Peter Brown, one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet, has a Rolodex second to none. But he's a big fan of you, Paul Solano, and Paul Ponders. And I told him, I said, the next time I'm on the air, Mike, I said, I'm going to make sure I give you a shout-out.
Without a doubt, and I give a shout-out to Mike on the North River as well. And Mike Sharon is just a great guy. He really is. So as Arthur Boyle would say, it's not time to make the donuts, it's time to make some money. So let's hear from our sponsors.
Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Benekeesit Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you. Have you tried Bryantville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools, 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davekaipitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email Mike at northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. You could call us at 781-837-4900, or you could also find us on the Odyssey app, and you could download that. That's AUDACY. And if you like my daughter in California who listens to Dad on the Odyssey app, or Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick at Pearl Street Station Restaurant, so many people are downloading the Odyssey app. Please do that. And also on the way down, I did hear that Tamika from Plymouth had called in. Tamika is a loyal listener to Paul Ponders, and it's great to have Tamika listening as well. And a shout out to those nonprofits out there. And also, if you have any news that you want me to publicize, to promote, please email me at paul@paulponders.com. I just had the pleasure of speaking to Envoy Ann from the Salvation Army, and she's just a delightful lady, so charitable and so community-oriented, and she really does a great job with the Salvation Army. And people are coming here right now and stuffing the backpack, stuffing the truck, and it's really great. The community is what it's all about. And you'll find that on Paul Ponders. If you go to paulponders.com, where you'll find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders on WATD shows. You'll find that in the past I've had many community-based organizations on, and I've had a few recent lengthy podcasts with Scott Whitley of Wicked Bites and State Auditor Diana DiZoglio that have really received a lot of traction, but also with nonprofits such as Gotham Whale, Handicapable Fitness. It's what it's all about, the community. And my last episode that I dropped last week was, in fact, with the Northeast Barbecue Society, and special thanks goes to Christopher Kimball, Dan Kimball, and Kristen Kimball from 16 Mesh Barbecue for enlightening us. I hope I didn't grill them too much with the questions, but it was a really delightful episode about the Northeast Barbecue Society and all. And I want to give a shout out to Deb Barrett Cotilli, who is a sand sculpture artist. There's a Paul Ponders podcast about Deb, and she does murals, she does karaoke, but she also is a sand art festival producer, and she does incredible logos. And she's there in Revere Beach right now, and hopefully she's doing well, and hopefully she's hydrating. But she does a wonderful job. But Brother David, we've talked about community, and again, as my co-host today, we have the chair of the Pembroke School Committee, Brother David Boyle. But David, we're all about community, and you were starting to tell the story, or I think you may have told much of the story about a recent project regarding the Boy Scouts in Pembroke, and I don't know how far you got into the story, but isn't it all about community? It's what we do.
It is, Paul, and you were gracious enough the last time we spoke. I had spoke at the Springfield College commencement, and I was trying to explain to people that it's a little bit of, we call it humanics. It's service above self. It's community. It's doing the right thing. And they always say that integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. And again, just this point of reference with the Scouts, and I had mentioned, Elliot Glass and Joe Salmieri and a few of the other parents that were just fantastic to be there. Remember the Hawks, the entire Hawks family showed up to help me. I call it Karen's legacy. Karen was active, and my late wife, very active in Scouting, as was I. And, it was a neighbor in need. It was the right thing to do. And it is a night and day transition. You saw the pictures before and after. It was absolutely amazing. And we were proud to do it. I started to mention I'm going to be working on a nonprofit. We'll do our first event in September. Basically, it's going to be Pembroke helping Pembroke. We're going to work... They've got a Veterans Memorial that needs to be spruced up a bit. They've got some funds. We're going to try to raise some more funds. And the hard part of when you do a nonprofit, Paul, and you've been doing these things for years, is when you're involved in politics, people think there's a political tie to this. Well, I said, I'm 64 years old. I don't want to be the state rep, the state senator. I'm none of those things. I'm blessed to be on the school board. I've been elected 3 times. This is my 9th year. I do it because it's the right thing to do, and I enjoy it, and I think I do a good job at it. So when you do a nonprofit, you're doing it to benefit the people. There's no again, if someone's doing it for the wrong reasons, Chris and Steve Perry are going to help me. John Brown, who happens to be a selectman of the board of Pembroke, are actively involved. Amy Lakakos from Rockland Trust, just super people that care. There's no agenda. They're not trying to score more business or do whatever. And again, if you're part of a community, it's what you have to do. There's no other way around it.
Oh, so true. And when I think back to my days of fundraising and friend-raising, when I think back to the time, talent, and treasure, the wealth, wisdom, and wherewithal, which was just so important in building that community, you basically had communities with a like for a mission. And it's all about the mission, isn't it?
It definitely is. And I said, you see a guy like Peter Brown come out who did the interview, then I see him come back pushing a shopping cart. As I said, I got a call from Christine James. I was very fortunate. Rob and I hosted an event for the Talking Information Center that ATD supports, again, with a great mission. But the people that come out and dedicate their time to projects like that, and it's what we need now. There's so much, I say, get the politics out of things. Get the hate out of things. It's not a Democrat-Republican world. We're in this for each other.
Yes.
And I know this is probably a bit of a controversial statement, but I tell people one of the proudest days of my life was the day after 9/11. Everyone was an American. Everyone cared about each other. They were concerned. They were reaching out. There was no, he's a Republican, he's a Democrat, he's this, he's that. There was none of that. We all just kind of pulled together and wanted to make America, where it was, where it should be.
Right, exactly. And if we look at the pulse of a community being built around the world of a small business, it's so important to go and support those small businesses, but it's important really to look at those charities. And if it starts with the service organizations, I've been blessed to be part of the Lions Club, Rotary, and I have friends who are in Kiwanis, and also we have friends who are in Zonta. And I know your mom and your dad were huge advocates of those service organizations, and it is important. And I think that's where we gathered a lot of our knowledge and our awareness of what it's like to give back to the community.
Well, again, Paul, it was instilled in us as young kids, and I say this now not in a bad way. Parents are so busy. It's such a fast society. It's two-parent working families, and every kid's got soccer and Little League and hockey and all the sports in the world, so you don't get as much of that club membership. Again, I'm sitting here kind of chuckling that the young lady from Kiwanis was talking to the young lady from Rotary. Peter was from Lions, the Salvation Army here. I said, all working on the same cause.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's just,
that's what it's all about.
Everybody had, the Lions always had eye research was their big thing, and that's where they put their time and their money to. I'm involved in the Masonic organization, and, we do some great things for people, and I'd love to see people get back to that, get more involved in the community. I had the pleasure of having dinner last night with Patrick and Sabrina Chilcott, who Andy and Ginny Wandell, and it was so funny how they all said they started the same way. They wanted to get involved in the town. And I hate to say a lot of times it leads to being on town boards, and then eventually whether it's Board of Selectmen, school committee, whatever it happens to be. I know like Andy's on the planning board. Sabrina works in town hall. You get involved in the town, and you're working for the betterment of the town. You want to make Little League better, softball better, soccer better, any type of thing. And again, like our music department in Pembroke, second to none, amazing. Brian Phillips, our athletic director, has done an amazing job. Again, Erin Obie, who's the superintendent, and her team, I'm so proud of them. I mean, I joke, we finished our budget last year. I think we had a surplus of $1,539.
Oh, my.
I think that's pretty darn good.
That's real good. That's real good. So why don't we leave that thought right there, and let's hear from our sponsors, and then we'll pick up with what's happening with Pembroke School Committee, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Paul.
Let's hear from our sponsors. Thank you.
Have you tried Brian Phil Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. chicken wings and fingers, and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857. Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Manakesett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision. Happy to work for you.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools, 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davekaipitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email Mike at northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. The call-in number is 781-837-4900. Tim behind the glass, how you doing back there?
Doing fine. Everything's just fine.
That's good.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, you're doing a fabulous job, as always.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely, without a doubt. So I have Dave Boyle here alongside to my left. We have Rob Packla, who's here with Larry Nelson, and really just an incredible amount of people who are just going up to the stuff the truck for the Salvation Army with so many back-to-school supplies. We're here until 3 o'clock at 300 Colony Place at the Walmart. So please come on down and donate. No amount is too large, too small. Just give with your heart, which is what it's all about, Alfie. Right, David Boyle?
Paul, this is amazing. Again, I was here probably about a half hour before we went on air, and I've just been watching people showing up. And again, some people, one gentleman with the Navy hat on just showed up. He had a stack of backpacks in his hand. I don't know if it was 5 or 10 or 15, but pulled them out, put them up there, and we just had a couple of people show up with their grandsons. It's just been a steady flow. It is. If you don't get a warm feeling seeing this, you're not a human being where I come from.
So true. It really is. But getting back to Pembroke, you're chair of the school committee, recently named chairman of the school committee, and you've been on, 9 years now?
This is the start of my 9th year.
Wow, that's fabulous. So what are you seeing for the upcoming school year?
Well, I mean, there's some stuff out there. There's a bill, I believe, before the Senate right now about banning cell phones, which is going to be interesting. And, again, I always tell people, play devil's advocate for a minute. And you say to somebody, when you and I were in high school back in the late 70s, early 80s, we didn't have phones. Our
No.
parents didn't panic about getting in touch with us. And, you know, you hear all these parents, oh, I can't get in touch with my child. And I said, you know what?
Right.
I get it. But I also kind of look at the part and sit there and say, okay, this is a little bit crazy that, you know, this is actually a topic, you know, that you have to kind of sit there and say to people, put it away. You're in school.
Right.
You know, this is not the time of the, you know, hey, if you're in a study period or something, I get it. I'd like to see a study. That'd be the purpose of it.
Right.
But if you want to play on your phone then, but it's just, to me, kind of disheartening. Again, I haven't taken a position on anything yet officially. I know another big thing for Pembroke with us is vocational education.
Sure.
You know, that's going to be a hot button issue. And again, I joke and tell people I had a woman on Facebook say that I was against it, and I said, well, that's amazing. I try to get my son into a vocational program. I said, so why would I be against it? I do tell people you have to look at the fiscal responsibility behind it. You know, what's the cost and incur? And, you know, again, it goes back on the taxpayers. So you have to look at that. We're stewards of the town. We just can't. I mean, again, I'd love to say, hey, approve this, approve that. And, you know, we're doing a teacher's contract right now. I love the teachers. My dad was a high school principal. My mother was a school secretary.
Yeah.
I was trained to be a school teacher. I'm supposed to be a high school phys ed teacher. So I'm not anti-teacher, but I am smart enough to say, okay, we have to look at the economics of the situation.
Right.
And that's the tough part. And, you know, people are like, oh, he's against or he's for. And I'm like, again, you have to look at what makes sense for the town.
Sure. And you really have to be a realist. You know, you only have so much money in the budget, and
Sure.
you have to spread that. You have to be fiscally prudent.
Yeah. Well, again, you say to people, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to increase class size? You know, reduce number of teachers? There's so many controversial sides to it, and you know, at the end of the idea, you want to have a good quality education. You want everyone to get a fair shake. You know, I was listening to a thing the other day, and they talked some stuff about living wages, and I said, I understand a living wage. I think it's a fantastic idea, but not for a part-time employee. You know what I'm saying? You can't get a part-time employee to a living wage without kind of blowing the scales of justice, for lack of a better term.
Right.
But that's a buzzword. You know,
Right.
they'll say, oh, we have to get so-and-so to a living wage. Well, again, if you're working 40 hours a week, yes. You know, and again, I'm not trying to turn this into a political show.
Right.
But, you know, if you're a part-time employee, it's not feasible or possible because you can't afford to do it. And again, if you go back to town residents, they say, oh, you know, support the teachers, support athletics, support music, support whatever. And then you say, okay, let's raise your taxes. Well, you can't do that. Again, where do you think the money's coming from?
Exactly. You're right.
You know,
So-
there's no rainbow out there with the pot of gold at the end.
Isn't that the truth? So are you seeing that there are outside organizations stepping up, some nonprofits stepping up and donating money outside the school budget?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure we're seeing that yet. You know, we are looking at some different avenues, you know, whether it's with outside sport programs. But again, you don't want to kind of charge the town to use your facilities. Now, again, if an out-of-town thing comes in and they're going to run a tournament, let's just pick on soccer for a second, or lacrosse. If they're going to host a tournament here in town and they want to rent the fields and do whatever, yeah, I'd like to see us make some money off that. Because, again, if you rent the gym, you know, we have to pay for custodians and things of that nature. There's a cost involved.
Right.
You know, a lot of people sit and say, well, the football field's out back or the 3 soccer fields across the way. Well, there's maintenance, is, you know, keeping them up, you know, maintaining it. We have the Hobbermock School, which has a playground right next to the 3 soccer fields.
Okay.
Well, that playground gets more use, you know, than the center of town, for heaven's sake. And
Sure.
wear and tear. And I'm not saying people are vandalizing it, but, you know, you open a gate, you know, 600 times a day, or people pull on the fence or jump over the fence gets loose, the post comes down. Somebody's got to pay to fix that. So again, is it incurred by the town or, you know, open space committees, whatever it happens to be? So again, I look at this nonprofit I spoke about earlier. We're going to try to pick some missions. I said the first one is the veterans. I think second is we'd like to reduce some of, I don't want to call them the parks, I'd say playgrounds is probably the better term.
Yep.
And you know, some Eagle Scout projects. You know,
Nice.
we do some stuff with Scouts, and again, those kids usually have to raise about $1,000. I always joke when they come before the school committee. I would always say, "I'll give you your first 100," and I'd always say Patrick Chilcott would give you your second 100.
There you go.
And I say, Patrick, you're on camera, so you can't say no.
Oh, boy. And then someone else follows suit, and it just trickles down, right?
Yeah, And again, it's amazing. We used to joke when I was involved in scouting, a few years back. We used to joke that none of us were really great dads, but together we were one great dad. You'd have one guy that could do the computer stuff, one guy that could do the carpentry stuff, one guy that could do the design stuff, and it was pretty impressive. I had the pleasure of working with Chris Pierce and Jim Agnew, guys like that, and Rich Napier. These guys, their backgrounds were so unique, the stuff they could do, and they would donate their time. They'd give you that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday when they could have been doing other things.
Right.
And again, they're just some of the greatest guys I ever knew.
Without a doubt. And I remember years ago, way back when BITD, as my daughters would say, back in the day, when I was doing some fundraisers for the Minuteman Council of the Boy Scouts of America. Yep. It was really, really something where you just had a bunch of dedicated individuals who really just committed to a cause, and scouting was really cool. And when I worked at the high school level, both at Malden Catholic and at Bishop Fenwick in fundraising, there were so many Eagle Scouts out there, and it moves it to the next level.
Paul, Pembroke, I think, could be one of the leading places in the country. We have, I think, 77 or 78 Eagle Scouts since the 1980s, and we've probably got another half a dozen in the pipeline. It is absolutely amazing. Again, I have to give a shout-out to the scouting program, and now it's Scouting America. I heard Rob interview a young man, Cole, who I thought was fantastic. He did a great interview. And now there's young ladies involved. And again, I say the same thing. I think it's fantastic. We have moms and dads involved. The cleanup we did last week, I had 3 or 4 mothers there, gloves on, digging in. I was pretty impressed. They did a great job.
That is fabulous. And Tim behind the glass, I heard on the way down that you were a scout.
Yes, sir. Made it all the way to Eagle, too. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. The Troop 47 Plymouth. And at that time, the statistic, I think it was a national statistic, about 2% of all scouts made it to Eagle. I don't know what the statistic is now, but I have a feeling it's not as high.
I would bet you're right, Tim.
Yeah, because it's just so busy because... you're trying to do scouts, but then maybe you're on the baseball team. You're playing basketball. Then there's love interests and all this other stuff. So sometimes trying to do scouts too, it's tough to tie it all together. But scouts teaches you so much. I got to do a lot of things with my troop that otherwise I don't think I would have ever had a chance. Like I got to go skiing. We stayed overnight on the USS Salem a few times, camping down in Connecticut, I think, and just the Klondike Derbies. It just and just friendship, and is a wonderful, wonderful experience.
No, Tim, this is Dave Boyle. I think that's amazing. I will tell you, you hit one key note. When we were kids, you grew up playing 3 sports. You played football or hockey or basketball in the winter, and then baseball or track and field. Now you get a lot of kids that they're playing hockey year-round. Yeah. They're playing soccer year-round. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good thing. But that's, again, I think that's another show, Paul.
No, we have about a minute and a half left. But you are absolutely right, Brother David, about the 3 sports and all that. Yeah. It's just something that we had, 603 in Malden? Cub Scouts 603?
Boy,
Back 603?
Paul, I hate to say I've been out of Malden so long. That'd take me a bit to remember.
Sounds about right. Well, Brother David, I want to thank you for being on, for opening up the show. And I believe, again, as I said, we both have faces for radio and all, and we'll have to have you back, right?
I would look forward to it. Always a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, guys.
And thank you, Tim, and I want you to stay tuned to WATD for the Memories with Ron Dwyer, the grand poobah of oldies rock and roll. Ron, you are a true leader of the pack with great musical memories of yesteryear. So thank you, Ron. Listeners can go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders on WATD guests. Thank you for this crew over here at Old Colony Place. Thanks again to Larry, Tim, Arthur, Dave, the Walmart staff, our onlookers, our people here. We're here until 3 o'clock, people.
Salvation Army.
Salvation Army. Shout out. Salvation Army, Envoy Ann, and the crew. Thank you so much. Come on down. We're here until 3. Stuff the truck, and Envoy Ann, you're awesome. Salvation Army, Boy Scout. Thank you so much. Keep on Paul pondering. #Indeed.